What's going on, everybody? It's your boy AB HVAC. Got a service call slash maintenance here today. The customer stating that I apologize about the sun. I don't really have a good angle here. It's either going to be in my eyes or going to be in y'all eyes. For the sake of the video right now, it's going to be in y'all eyes. But homeowner says the unit's not keeping up. I've already cleaned the coils with some cleaner, and I'm about to get it started up, and we're going to see what's going on with it. Just off rip, I am so tired of all the briars and everything around here just cutting at my legs. If you guys hear me sniffling, I'm sorry. It's so crazy out here right now. You can see the pollen just on top of everywhere. So one thing, one of my only few gripes about being in the South. But I took off the entire panel right here for the condenser coil, cleaned off these two sides as best as possible, removed the top and sprayed down the back end a little bit. It wasn't really noticeable, you know, viewing it from this side. This side of the coil on these ream rud package units are always the dirtiest. I took that panel off, cleaned the evap coil. I've already pre-drilled my hole for my return side field piece job link psychrometer probe. And I was gonna put my supply one right here where the high limit switch is, you know, like right in front of the blower motor, in front of the evap coil, like right there. But I wasn't fighting through all these briars, so I decided to just pop the top up on the doghouse duct cover. I drilled a little hole right there. That's where I'm gonna put my supply one at. And I will mastic tape over it when I'm done on that one, and I mastic tape on the other side when I'm done here. I already had to mastic tape the edges to hold on the insulation panel. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this panel off now and jump the unit out, because again, I don't have access to the inside of the house. But I'll tell you guys why later. Just took this panel off and noticed that the red wire nut is just gone. I don't see it on oh, it is. It's right there on the ground. But I'm gonna put a new fresh one on there, brush all this stuff out, and clean that flame. I'll clean the flame sensor literally very last, because I just want to make sure the AC is cooling. That's that's the customer's biggest issue right now, as well as the biggest thing that I want to tackle, because that was their biggest concern. But I think this is like a 2014. Oh dang! This is like a 2014 gas pack. My boss's father's company put this in a while ago, and the guy says he hasn't had any real issues with it until, I guess, the start of this summer, or this spring right now. Said he cut it on about last week when we hit about the temperatures we're at today, mid 70s, almost 80. And I guess he said his son was complaining that it was too hot in the house. I don't know, but because when I came here yesterday in the morning, it was scheduled in the morning, and in the morning yesterday it was like 40 something degrees. I was like, I'm not going to be able to really give you an accurate reading or an accurate diagnosis of what may or may not be your issue at this point in time. I said, it also looks like your system really needs to be serviced. Let's just schedule this for today, which right now it's like, watch this, like 81 real feel. Yeah, 81 degrees out. So we're at good temperatures. I don't know the inside, but I'll be able to tell once I get my probe on the return. So I already got the disconnect pulled, sitting up there. I'm gonna jump out R, Y, and G all together, so that way I know the fan's operating, condenser's calling, and we're squared away to test the cooling. Pressure probes hooked up on these reams. You can sometimes I take the blower door panel off and put my probes, my clamps right at the metering device. But right now, because of everything that's in the way over there, I've just got my clamp on the suction line, if the camera would focus, right down there, and then right under the filter line dryer, I've got the high side one. I've got one right there. My magnet, I don't know if anybody else has problems with the field piece magnets, but mine keep ripping through the little holder for them. So right now I've just got tape holding that up there. Ow, golly. Let's go ahead, put the disconnect back in. I don't think it's gonna stay up. It didn't for me a sec. Oh, okay. Go ahead like this. Ow. Cut right on. Make sure it's all the way in there. And I've got it streaming on the tablet right here. Oh, y'all can't see my password. Hold on. Y'all really got me spoiled with this Measure Quick. I thought again I was used to the field piece app, but this is starting to really work out for me. Let's see what it says the other temperatures and stuff are. No, indoor measurements. There's no way it's 60 something degrees inside. Did I put the probes in the wrong spot? Are they reading opposite? That one says return. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's reading opposite. Let me go ahead and change this stuff real quick, guys. I'll be right back. And with a couple changes, we're looking a heck of a lot better. I don't know why the suction is so low. It's probably been about a good 15 minutes since I cleaned that evap coil. Is this already saying we've got issues? No, okay, it's still saying wait. Just based off of this stuff, guys, what do you guys think is going on here? Really high superheat, low subcooling, suction lines pretty warm. You know what? Okay, let's try something else. So we were reading 93 at 305. Let's see what the chart right here says. Sorry if the fan motor's messing with the wind. I'm not even the 93 measurement isn't even on here. So 93 and what I say 305 up here, and we're like 80 something degrees. So I do think we'd be like way over here low. Judging by this chart, we're low. And God, my screen don't want to stay on for nothing. And I'm wondering if Measure Quick is going to tell us we're low also. But I mean, even if I wanted to say, well, you know, let's just base it off superheat or subcool. I don't know what the if it's a TXV or a piston, because I'm not about to cut my hand up messing with all that stuff right now. But you could just, you know, understand that high superheat would normally, on a piston system, would normally indicate a low charge, depending on, you know, your piston size, whatever the manufacturer data specs are. As well, if you had a TXV with how hot it is outside, that's definitely too low of subcooling. So with how old this system is, I mean, I could probably show a picture to you guys of what the evap coil looked like before and after, but there's a good substantial amount of rust on the elbows and everything. There was a little bit of growth on the coil that I was able to clean off, but from what I'm seeing right now, I think this guy has a low charge on this unit. Not by much. I mean, you can see what Measure Quick would want the pressures to be at, so we're not off by too much, but we're definitely off. And we're probably off within the same margins based on Rheem's manufacturer coil data chart, pressure chart. One thing that has always bugged me though about the Rheems doing their pressure charts and stuff is that I don't know how they have it just set up to where they don't even care about your superheat, subcool. They just want you to go based off those pressures. I have seen on some of these they would tell you like your TXV subcool or something on here, but without being able to put your clamps on there, you wouldn't be able to know. And unless you had Bluetooth clamps, you really wouldn't be able to know. Because if you had just a regular 3 or 4 port gauge manifold, how are you going to clamp onto anything to, you know, get your temperatures? So this is one of those instances where having the Bluetooth stuff really pays off. But other than that, I think we did find the issue. If you guys are wondering what model this is and if I'm correct on the year, okay, yeah, 2013, and we are dealing with a 3-ton. And this is a 2-story house, so it's only controlled by this one unit. I don't know the exact square footage, but I believe the owner told me a 1-bedroom suite upstairs with a bathroom. And he says it still pushes air up there, and there is a return up there, but it's not pushing out a lot, and it doesn't pull in a lot from that return. So I think we definitely found the issue here, as to why he seems like, you know, it's not cool, it's not keeping up right now. Actually, I don't even, what does it say the Delta T? What is the Delta T? Delta T right now is fine, surprisingly, but we're still low. Ah, man, look at that airflow. Now, I don't know how it's going to tell the airflow based off of the field piece equipment, and how close I have my equipment to the fan may be interfering with that. Your blower motor on these Rheems sits like right here, blows down into the heat exchanger and blows out that way. Ooh, God, wasp, get out of here. So with me having my probe right face down into the squared around, it may be too close. And then with that not necessarily directly in the airstream, you know, maybe it'd be a better representation if I had both of them in the squared arounds. I don't know, but I think this guy will be happy to know what the issue is. I'm gonna give him a call and see what he wants me to do. That was weird. I don't know if it's if she's just with him right now, but his wife picked up the phone. And I've never met the wife. I only know the husband, so I was like, did I call the wrong number? But she was like, no, I'll speak for him. There's no good in having an AC if we can't use it. Go ahead and fill it up. I don't think I'll need to use more than maybe like 3 pounds at most if something's wrong. So that was just me covering my butt by saying 3. Watch this thing take like 2. If it ends up taking more, that's my fault. And I'll just have to talk to the boss about that one. But again, I don't think I'll need that much. We're so close. And the Delta T is already good. The pressures are what's kind of throwing it off a little bit. But go ahead, fill her up. I wish I would have caught it on video. I didn't pull the phone out fast enough. I literally just dropped in just about a half a pound with the LE Tech Bluetooth thing. Shout out my man Butler HVAC. I think my man's located like out in DC. He told me about this scale. I love this scale. My boss has the Bluetooth field piece one. I don't even care. The only thing I could say is better about the field piece one is the little magnet thing on here. But you can get you some hot glue and some Harbor Freight magnets, and you got the same dang thing for not even the same amount of money. But it was showing I had 2 faults here: the sensible capacity below 90%, and then I had system potentially low on charge or something along those lines, but low charge. So then you know, and that was, I read that as I was dumping in a ½ pound. So we're already up a little bit closer to that needle, closer to that needle. And we're almost closer to where we would be here, which, I mean, if we're looking at a horizontal of about 80 degrees outside, ambient 81. So we'll be looking in the middle here. So I should be close to 300. I'd probably say somewhere between 300 and 310. You know, and then like somewhere between 110 and 120. And I'd probably be fine with that. Oh my God, I gotta go through the settings on my tablet and really change the timer on this thing. Let's go back here. Look at the superheat. The superheat's looking a lot more optimal. Subcooling still low. I'm gonna try and drop in about another ½ pound, see if we can't raise that subcooling up, at least get it into the green and make sure that the superheat doesn't fall, you know, out of the green, because that would be bad. Not necessarily bad, but it'd be more along the lines of not necessarily good. There's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. Yeah, subcooling came up a little bit, and ooh. Let's give it a minute. But as far as to why I don't have access inside right now, the homeowner said that he had a doctor's appointment today. And he wasn't going to be here after about 2 o'clock. We had other service calls scheduled. But I told him, because we looked at the weather, tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 60s, and then it's supposed to be like very low 70s the rest of the week into the weekend. So just to make sure we're squared away now, I was like, man, it's supposed to be 81 degrees on Wednesday. Let's just go ahead and fit you in. I can pretty much test everything I need to at least get an idea of what's wrong. And I asked him the general questions. I was like, is there anything wrong with any vents not blowing in the house? Are there certain places in the house not feeling comfortable? He said, no, overall, the whole house just does not feel like it's keeping temperature. I said, okay, that's good. That means I don't really have to check any specific vents. I don't have to really go crawling up under the crawl space to look at ductwork or anything. This is just strictly system performance. And with this being a package unit, I can pretty much test everything from out here. I don't need to get the thermostat. I can bypass the thermostat with the thermostat wiring right here, like I've done with a set of jumpers. So we're really working with the customer on this one and his schedule just to make sure he's ready for summertime. He said that the previous company really never found anything. They just kind of cleaned the unit and kept it pushing. So it's for me to only barely have to have a pound added to this system and it getting back good. I think we're okay here. I'm not even gonna recommend a sealant, but at this point now, since this is the first time something has leaked on the unit, we're gonna let the customer know that, hey, there is a leak somewhere. At this point, it's minor. You know, is it really worth dumping a whole lot of resources into trying to find the leak at this time, or should we wait until it completely stops running, the leak gets worse? Whatever the case may be, we'll work on you with those solutions when we come across it. I don't know too many companies that when the system has leaked a pound, you know, you're trying to deep dive a leak search. You know, dropping a sealant in or breaking the unit apart, going to search for something. I don't know. If that's what you guys do at your companies, there's no problem with that. It's not what we do here, and there's nothing wrong with it either way. We're here to work. We're here to work for the customer and work with the customer. So that's what we're doing. Let's see what these pressures are. High sides within that range. Low sides still kind of on the low end. Suction line. Oh, how you doing, sir? I thought you weren't going to be here.
Yeah, well, I just got back. So, I heard the verdict was you gonna have to put some of that stuff in there, right? Put a little stuff in there.
Yes, sir. I'm adding it in as we speak, little bit by little bit. I don't want to overdo it.
Okay.
But right now, it is working better now that I'm adding some in there.
Good.
The last company that was here, did Interior ever tell you if they had to add anything?
The last time anybody was here to look at it, it was Chad, but it seemed like it was in the winter time, and he did not. I mean, it wasn't an issue. Wasn't an issue to add then. I mean, it was in the cool weather. So.
Have you ever had to add? Might have.
So it's been a while.
Okay.
All right. Well, you got a total for me, or you're not through yet?
I'm almost there.
All right. Okay. Just make it out the Grand Air solution.
Yes, sir. The same way it's spelled on the side of my truck. Even though the homeowner just came by literally at the end of the service call, this is what we're looking at now. At the end of everything, after 1.5 pounds of R410A, we've got 14 degree superheat. I got the subcooling up to 8, which I've always heard, 8 to 12 for subcooling is fine. But I mean, we're in that green range there, and I really don't want to overcharge this. Even though if I overcharge it, it's probably still fine because there is a leak. And I did just talk to him about that. He seems like he doesn't even want to dive into it like I thought. And we're still looking at, this is like a 26 degree temp split. Now, even though this temp split is pretty high, I can, again, almost base that off of me being like within 4 or 5 feet of the blower motor, probably less than that, honestly. Blower motor right here, probe right here, majority of that force is hitting that way and then shooting out. So I mean, it's not like cold air is just going across it. If I were to put the probe from there probably at like a vent, either over here or over there, whichever one is closest, it'd probably read closer to 20. And then in the same token, there could be residual cold air falling off of the, like emitting from the evaporator coil that could be affecting that. So, and this is just speculation. I don't know. I'm just throwing out possible things that could be affecting my Delta T. But customer already seems like he's happy. I overshot on the refrigerant, thinking it was going to be 2 to 3 pounds, ended up being half of the maximum of what I thought it was. So I'm gonna get this thing all buttoned back up, tape up the holes that I've now drilled into the system and into the ductwork, and then go inside and collect the check. Oh y'all, this old man got me laughing so hard I started sneezing. So it might have been pollen induced, but man, that was funny. I'm trying to talk to him about it may be feasible right now to just go ahead and continue filling up the system, but at some point, we may have to think about actually trying to fix the leak, or if the leak gets too bad and it's in an irreplaceable spot, we may have to replace a component, or worst case scenario, if the things are too expensive, we got to replace the whole unit, depending on where the leak is. Whatever the case. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna keep that thing running. I might not be here too long. I'm like, sir, what you talking about? He's like, man, I had a scare, so as long as the missus is fine, we just gonna keep trucking along. I'm not gonna replace nothing in this house. I'm like, oh my God, I can't knock it though. I cannot knock it. He said he gonna ride that unit till the wheels fall off, and I don't blame him. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching this video. And I'm hoping it was a quick one. Thanks for all the information and like guidance on how to use Measure Quick and getting better with Measure Quick. I'm trying. It is definitely a great tool for homeowners. I just don't use it on the residential rental side. It won't I could throw them 50 million reasons as to like, oh, this app is letting me know, or this software is letting me know your unit's not performing well. They're not going to care. They're going to say it's running. So it's just what it is. But if you guys have to deal with homeowners on a day-to-day basis, I'm starting to really get on that whole trend of just recommending using MeasureQuick. It is a great tool, especially for new techs. Obviously, don't rely on technology too much. You got to understand the systems and how they work from a fundamental standpoint, like just purely how they work, before you start just letting technology solve all your problems. Because there are situations where the technology is going to be telling you something, and it's just like, it's going to look weird, and you're going to have to use your actual experience to say, no, I know why that's telling me this, and it's not because of what the app is telling me is wrong. It's because of this situation over here. So with that being said, guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And to anybody that thought I didn't clean the flame sensor, yes I did. Haha.